The first victim is Mark Meyer. Come on down.
Look at this guy.
So this is certifies Mark Meyer of Carolina Beach Operations has successfully completed 5 years with the town of Carolina Beach. First time I met Mark, his supervisor was in my office, and he walked in and he looked at his supervisor and he said, "I got sprayed." Which, if you work in sewer, so
It's not a good thing.
How long did you stay in the office?
As long as I could.
I love it.
So he's had hands-on, knows our system. Our guys trust him and love him. Been a great asset. He was in my office. He's in my office all the time, and he'll get a call from his guys, and they say, "Hey, we can't find this service." And he's like, "Go look on the northwest corner behind the boxwood," and there it is. He knows the town, and has 57 different collateral duties, as you all know. So we're very happy to have him.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Right on.
Thank you, Mark.
Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Nice. And Daryl, you're going to present for Joe? All right.
Everybody loves Joe.
Everybody loves Joe.
He shows up and you get like a car on cement blocks.
Of course, this is for Joe for the 5 successful years. He started out as a part-timer. He's moved to the code enforcement side. Now he's got to deal with the difficult people in difficult situations. I'm kind of blessed with him being with me, so I don't have to stress over it. I'm enjoying it, and I'd like to say thank you for it. Thank you. Congratulations.
All right. Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. It's hard to give bad news and still come away people liking you, so you're doing great. That's a skill.
It is a skill.
All right, well, we're lucky to have Tim Buckland from the county today. He's going to give a short presentation on the 2020 census, which is just months away from beginning. He'll have the details, and I've been flight following Tim on a few of these committee meetings, so I'm a little bit up to speed.
Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, council members. How are you all this morning? Thank you very much for letting me come by. As I told Kim this morning, I'm going to take up a whopping 5 to 10 minutes of your time maximum. Depends on how much you wish to grill me. I probably don't need to educate you on what the census is. Everybody here has probably taken the census and done it. It's the basis of billions in dollars in federal aid. And when I made Mayor Benson's eyebrows raises when I told him that adds up to about $1,600 a person. So that's why it's important that local governments engage in the census. But are we going to be the ones out there with the clipboards in our hands? No, we aren't. Locally, our efforts are mostly on engagement and on promotion of the census, and that's where we will ask for little bits of help from our local government partners. To that end, New Hanover County and the City of Wilmington have partnered to form what's called the Complete Count Committee. Mayor Benson serves on that committee. It's 18 members. It's local government folks. It's people out in the community, homelessness advocates, faith community, and business advocates. We had our first meeting back in September, and it's supported by county and city staff. The initiatives and goals are to conduct outreach on the census through numerous methods, employing the community itself, local government, and basically any way we can to get people. Our goal is when you get that little postcard that says, "Hey, take the census," don't throw it in the trash. Just go ahead and take the census. The goal is to get 80% of our estimated total population to actually take the census. I'm personally shooting for 90 to 95%. After the first Complete Count Committee meeting was held, 5 subcommittees were appointed to actually do what we call the grunt work of promoting and doing outreach on the census. They cover the faith-based and homeless communities, business and housing, education, the community, and then, as Mayor Benson serves on, our government subcommittee. And by the way, stop me if you have any questions.
I do. Just a real quick
Fire
question. You said you wanted to get 80%. What is the typical turnout for a census?
Last time in New Hanover County was 77%.
Oh, that's great. And that's how you do it with a postcard that goes to the mailboxes?
So there's numerous ways we do outreach. Most of us will get that postcard delivered to a household. So if someone says, Mayor-elect Pierce, do each one of us fill out the census in our household? The answer is no. You count the total number of people in your household. So each house will get its own postcard to fill out for the entire household.
And how many years is the census done? So how, what is the span?
It's every decade, every 10 years on the zero. It started, I believe,
Okay.
in 1790 was the first census. It's the basis for your congressional representation.
When was it?
1790.
Wow, okay, awesome.
And back then, it was people went out to every house and physically counted. There are 4 people here.
Right.
And of course, when the country had less than 1 million people in it, you probably could do that. The Census Bureau itself will do the physical counting of homes that they say do not report. That's when you start seeing the people with the clipboards knocking on doors. That means that household did not send their postcard back or did not go online. So this year, the major push of the U.S. Census Bureau is to get people to fill out their forms online. It's faster, it's easier, you don't have to mail anything in, you don't have to, 30 years ago, you might have left the form underneath a pile of stuff, and now you've lost it. Darn it, I didn't do the census. Which is why in 2000, I believe, New Hanover County's estimate was around 65% of people responded. So we're trying to boost ourselves up, and there's numerous reasons to do it. It looks like North Carolina, if our estimates are correct, will get not just a 14th member of Congress, but a 15th. So if every person is counted, we may be able to get 2 more members of Congress, which gives us more representation and more power in the federal level. Some key dates. Back in September, we formed the Complete Count Committee, and Mayor Benson was gracious enough to agree to serve on it. The next month, we formed our subcommittees. And then this month, we held those first subcommittee meetings, and we already have follow-up meetings scheduled for next month. And in those subcommittee meetings, we've already done some work. We've already outlined some things we want to do, and I'll go over those in just a second. Next month, we'll have our follow-up meetings of both the full committee and our subcommittees, and those are open if you wish to actually attend. I promise riveting conversations that keep you wide awake. Hey, Joanne. Morning. And then from January to April, we perform our actual work. We go out in the community, we do every bit of outreach we can to get people to agree to take that census. On March 23rd, that's when you can begin responding online. That's when, if you get your census form at your house, you can go online to census.gov and actually do the census. You don't have to worry about mailing anything in later if you don't want to. Or you can start with calling in your information. The census has phone lines open. Or you can do it the old-fashioned way and mail it in. Or you can do it the really old-fashioned way, which we don't want you to do, which is throw the thing away and wait for somebody to come by with a clipboard and knock on your door. But we're hoping to avoid that.
And you said
as
that's
much as
March?
possible. In March, you can begin self-reporting. April 1, April Fool's Day, is actually the census day. That's the day that if you live somewhere on April 1, that's where you want to be counted. So that's why one of our key demographics is
And how long is that window open?
for a week and a half.
Oh, wow.
Week to week and a half.
So we should be trying to get the word out now to
Yes,
people to
ma'am.
be looking for that.
Yes,
Hence why you're here.
hence why I'm here. All the way through May and then into the fall, the U.S. Census Bureau itself will do the follow-up on what they call non-respondents. So if Councilman Shuttleworth got the form, threw it away, ignored it, somebody would knock on his door.
I would do that.
He just likes people to visit.
Oh, there you go. Have coffee ready.
Yeah.
So Mayor Benson and I held a follow-up meeting, as he may have told you, at my office, where we talked about some of the ways that perhaps we could have Carolina Beach partner on this effort with us. They included providing your community center and computers so residents can take the census for free during the week of self-reporting, inserting census materials in things like water bills or notices. So if your code enforcement officer's out there and saying, hey, you gotta get the, that truck off the cement blocks, oh, by the way, don't forget the census is coming. Those little kind of things would help. Perhaps when you have community events, let us set up a booth so people can come by and ask questions about the census and get answers. And finally, Joe has graciously agreed to continue serving should it be the council's wish upon the changeover in December. But I leave that completely up to you if you want Mayor Benson to continue serving.
You guys can figure that out if you want. You know, you mentioned some ways to get the word out. We have the billboard coming over the bridge as being one, and then one of the things I mentioned to Tim is activities which we have leading up to the event, town-sponsored or otherwise, perhaps in March, to have a booth that gets more exposure. It's really about the exposure and people seeing it. It's more than just hearing it, so.
So the county has already made some commitments toward the census. Our libraries, all 5 of them, will be open with actual banks of computers dedicated just to the census. Hopefully we will get a good response. We are coordinating with Wave Transit to bring people, hopefully we'll be able to bring people from homeless shelters and camps to the library to take the census. They get counted too, just like anyone else. We're coordinating efforts with UNCW and Cape Fear Community College to make sure students understand, and this is a key demographic for us, make sure they understand that when they take the census, they don't live in Boston or Ottawa or Portland. They live here, and they're counted here. So if you happen to have college students who live in Carolina Beach and are going to school part-time at CFCC, they don't live with mom in Chapel Hill. They live here. And finally, we're doing some major outreach into our Latino community and other minority communities, because let's be clear, if I show up at some of these places and knock on the door, I'm not going to get the same response as Lucy Vasquez from Amigos International or Pastor Campbell from New Beginnings Christian Church, both of whom serve on our Complete Count Committee. So we're trying to think of every possible way we can reach communities where they are.
Right.
That's good.
That's great. And, you know, at the council's pleasure, you can come back in February or March or whenever just to
Give you an update?
restate the word. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, wherever you like.
So that's great, Tim. I was thinking, Ed, 2 things. I assume we can set up some computers like Tim is suggesting, which is a great idea, somewhere, whether it be the rec center or town hall or,
Have the computer set up?
yeah, for like what he's talking about, have something set up for people to register online.
We should be, we'd have to find.
We just think about that. And also, what about that week that it's open? Maybe we could make a billboard for that week for people to see that. We have that slot available, make something up for that week.
We can definitely look at the billboard and tents at events, as you mentioned. We can put some flyers at the rec center and town hall, letting people know about it, the library, that type of thing.
Perfect.
I wouldn't see why we wouldn't allow a walk-in service issue. During that entire week, they could just walk in here at Town Hall, have a computer set up, take it leisurely.
Okay.
We can promote that on Facebook and our website.
Yeah, we'll look at the computer
As well as
side
the
to see
the
if we
rec center
can
gets a lot of
set,
foot traffic, so something there as well.
set something up like that. Okay, we can look
Further,
into
the
that.
counties, we're going to try to produce a couple of PSAs, so videos, around promoting the census, and if the town's willing to share those on Facebook, Twitter, you name it.
Sure.
That would be helpful.
Anything else for Tim? Tim, thanks. And
Thank you.
I'll
very
see
much
you
for
next
this
Tuesday.
opportunity.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
It's good to see everybody.
Have a good day.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
All right, so up next is Mark Myers going to give an overview of our bathrooms and ocean rescue building on Hamlet.
Good morning, Mayor, Council.
Hey, Mark.
Ben would be doing this, but he is with his family for the holidays, so I'm going to fill in and try to get you guys updated on where we are and try to move forward from this point. So we're going to discuss the public restroom and ocean rescue design build project. So as you know, we've already demoed the building. We're looking forward to moving forward. We had some original questions at the last meeting that were proposed to add some more bathrooms. So we've gone into looking into that to get some more designs. And just so you guys see this was the original, well, This was the original proposed design, which essentially had the same amount of stalls we had originally, the showers, and then also the ocean rescue. And then we got some information that we wanted to see more bathrooms. So to give you a rough idea, these were the price breakdowns on the existing design that you saw. And if you're okay, I can move forward. And these were the rough estimates on the original design of the same amount of bathrooms that we were looking at. So these are the proposed new designs where we added more bathrooms, and we have 2 of them, just to give you an idea. And this one enabled the garage to stay the same, but the break room and 1 office were removed. But with the additional bathrooms that we added, we also had to add a family restroom as well, which we did. So that was the first design, and that would be facing east. And then the second layout was the same, but we also added another family bathroom that gave us 2 family bathrooms, but we did lose about 5 feet out of the garage and a garage door. Now, we don't have prices because we wanted to see how you guys felt about this stuff.
Are you saying those are the 2 proposed plans, or,
These are Ben and I came up with basically revisions to add bathrooms to them.
So they've added stalls to both of these plans. How many stalls did you get in the,
2 extra, it looks like.
We added 2 extra, 1 handicap each, and then an extra stall on each.
and then the extra family bathrooms, which is a building code requirement that you have those, so you're getting those additional bathrooms as well.
And we tried to accommodate as best we could with the same exact footprint that was existing with the original design.
so which one are you favoring?
Basically, the way, after talking to Alan, he needs the garage space, so this probably would be the one we favor.
So what's this on the corner? Well, let me just, how many bathrooms is in this one? 1, 2, 3, same?
5 each.
One,
We
2,
added
3,
2
4, 5?
each,
Okay, I see, men
And then the
women,
family
and 1
restroom.
family.
yes.
And what's this little, does that say storage? I can't read it.
Yes.
What's that storage for?
That would be essentially anything else the fire and ocean rescue would need.
So it's more storage.
Because, well, we took an office out and we had some space left over, so we made a storage. And either that could be AV equipment or it could be lifeguard equipment.
And so they would all enter from the east side.
They have 2 entrances, one from the east side and one between the garage doors.
East is up.
Where do you see the other entrance? I'm talking about for the public. I see, okay, I see the 2.
Yeah, that's east. That's
And
facing
just-
the
okay.
beach.
And what's the other plan? I'm sorry, y'all just jump in. I'm just trying to read the plan.
And that would be the other plan.
Number of bathrooms really is the only,
It's all
how
it
can you
is,
get
is
more?
Just
That-
one more
that's really
family
all.
bathroom.
we added, on this one, we just added 1 more family bathroom and we have a much smaller storage closet, but we made the garage smaller.
And what's that behind the family bathrooms?
That's the lifeguard bathrooms.
Oh, because they were on the back side.
Yes.
Which
Can you
one's
go back to
cheaper?
layout 1?
Which one's less expensive
We
and more
do not
construction? The same?
We do not have a number yet, but the price will go up because of the additional bathrooms, and I can't speak exact, but it was roughly $1,000 per bathroom. So by adding, we're looking at, I'm looking at roughly 10 grand at a minimum.
So more than likely, we won't have those prices until new council's on board, correct?
Not until we make a decision to ask them to draw up the plans and give us a spec.
So staff can move forward with this contract. This will be design build. We are going out for the loan, and we should have that approved by December 3rd or 4th, and then we can move forward and enter into the contract at staff level, and that will keep us on our timeline of getting this done mid-June, or mid-July at this point. So we're trying to salvage some of the next season.
Well, I would think that that design would be the better one because you got more storage. I mean,
This one keeps both garage bays, and this one
Right.
is important for them with their UTV and their
Right.
ATVs and
I mean,
jet
it's a
skis.
dual purpose. It's got the bathroom, but it also has the storage is very important.
That one fits the bill, and the storage is the most important thing.
Yeah. I mean, you want more bathrooms. We're not giving up the storage. I think that's the better design.
We're staying in the same footprint. We're adding amenities. We're just
Right.
downsizing some.
Alan, are
stuff,
you
but-
comfortable with either one? Is there one you favor?
I think he favors that one.
And is this showers to the left?
Yes.
Okay.
The showers in the front, and there's also lifeguard showers in the back.
When do you need a decision, Ed?
We'd like to, if we can, we'd like
Right
to
now?
have a decision today on a design, and we can go back and move forward with the contract.
Alan? Anything to?
I'm deferring to the builder beside me.
I like that one.
Okay.
Makes sense to me. Joe Dan?
I'm fine with that.
You guys see that out there too? You get the, maximize the bathrooms and ensure that there's adequate storage and
Yeah.
accessible
You got to do both
vehicles.
things.
Now, I don't like the addition of the family bathroom. I'm assuming that also includes changing stations
Just
for
a smile.
babies and things like that.
Once we went past the amount of bathrooms that the original design had, then it required us to add a family bathroom.
I like that.
I think you got the guidance, Ed.
All right.
Yes,
you got
sir.
it.
Thanks.
Layout one, we'll go with it.
Thank you very much, guys.
You're welcome.
Now, are you looking for a,
Do you have
a
any
motion to
rendering of
approve
the,
on the
I'm
next
sorry,
one?
of the outside?
For
What the
consolidating
design-
operations and ad hoc power lines, rather? Are you looking for us to make a decision on that?
Yes, sir, that
What I
would be,
Sorry, I was saying that, the outside design should be beachy and attractive and,
oh, okay. Okay, we'll talk to the architect about that as well.
I mean, I know that makes it more expensive, but shakes and things like that make it,
Yeah, we showed them some of that style around town, the boardwalk, the lift station on Raleigh and Canal, that gave them the feel that we were looking for.
Yeah, I would be consistent with that. It's a good look.
I was thinking a little nicer, a little fancier if we're gonna do it. Not fancy, but I mean, just, but a little more upscale.
PG.
Okay.
Beachy looking.
Thank you,
Will
Mark.
do.
Mark, thanks.
Town committees.
Does the discussion include a recommendation
So for the
from you,
next,
Ed, or?
the next item, we are looking at, we've got our operations committee, which is 5 members, and we also have our power line committee, which is down to 3, although they have got a couple people interested. The power line committee has a lot of energy and excitement, but they really want to, they really need some time with the operations committee to delve into our bigger projects, so they can see how they can capture that low-hanging fruit of burying power lines with what the operations committee is looking at. So what we're looking at doing is could we combine those two committees? The operations committee is 5. Most of our committees are 7 folks. If we had 7 folks on operations and we could have some alternates there, and they could all come, they wouldn't have to be voting members, but they could be, they
And
could
did you-
come. And they
Did you
could,
account for the resignation of Jay and Lynn on any committees they're on? That opens a spot.
right, and Jay is on both, I think,
Yep,
both
he's on
committees,
both.
so that helps too.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me as well.
That's your
Yeah.
committee, right?
Oh,
Okay.
me.
Okay.
You need a motion. So with that, I make a motion to consolidate the Operations Advisory Committee and the Ad hoc Power Lines Committee, effective, Kim?
Immediately.
Effective immediately?
And then we'll increase ops to 7 with, how many alternates do we need? We have 3? 2 alternates.
In doing so, ops is increased to 7. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. All those opposed? Unanimously. Okay, non-agenda. I have one that was handed to me. Joe, Dan?
You go first.
No. Okay. This going back to, and a little context on this, going back to our a week ago,
Yes, sir.
when adopting the Freeman Park ordinance.
So when we adopted the Freeman Park ordinance, we wanted to capture all the costs, transaction fees, processing fees, and at the same time, any convenience fees that were being charged. But what we did was make the cost inconsistent from what the town's charging and Allen Tackle. And Allen Tackle has the expanded hours where they offer the passes early in the morning, late in the evening, and we can't accommodate those type of hours. So they do accommodate most of the sales. So that's a little bit of the history. So that right now, if you go to Allen Tackle, under the current motion, it would that council made, it would be $5 more at Allen Tackle, which could create some animosity and inconsistent. It would be some inconsistency there with us and Allen Tackle. So opportunity to make that modification if you want to.
So it was about 5,600 passes that they sold last year. Is that ballpark?
And we ate that $5 cost, which was what, 26 grand?
Right.
Anything else on that, guys? When we discussed it, Ed, the thing that jumped out at me was, were they not to be a point of sale? If you can quantify it, what kind of an impact would that be on our water billing window and up front, where folks would walk in, as opposed to going to?
Without having another vendor, it would
Strain.
it would handcuff us up front and seriously impact our ability to do business. So having a vendor out there, and we can look at options in the future of how we want to do that, but having a vendor out there, and not only having a vendor, but somebody that's conveniently located in town and also has expanded hours, is a huge benefit for the community. So they do provide a great service for the town by providing that location.
And I think we discussed they sold like 80% of the passes.
They did sell the
So
majority
that's
of the
kind of a
passes. Yes.
Big factor, I think.
And right, this year, I think we're going to stick with that one vendor, and we can look at options for different ones in the.
And with
if
all
we
the
wanted to.
contentious things surrounding Freeman Park, I don't see the point in changing a lot of things for the public.
Right.
Just make it,
Yeah.
keep it simple.
Exactly.
Town's ready to sell the passes, the early bird by the 9th of December. Any reason why that would be?
I talked to our Public Works folks this morning, and everything is done at the 1708 Canal Drive location except for the heating and air. But basically, that building is ready to go. If any of y'all want to go down and take a look at it, we can arrange for
I did. It looks good.
a visit if you wanted to. But they're basically ready to go, and I asked them when the heating and air is going to be in. So hopefully, it'll be probably next week before that goes in. But regardless, they will be open for December 9th, and we'll be ready for December 9th.
Anything else on this, guys?
Sheila's
On the
been working to
motion.
get the computers.
I was going to
set
ask
up.
that, are we going to have those computers for Dennis? Because I did hear him say that one went down last year, so he's down to one computer.
Sheila's been working on that, trying to get new computers over there. The ones that we had there were ancient. They were our oldest computers, and we've gone to a new IT system where we don't have equipment anymore. We basically are leasing our equipment. So
So are those computers tied into this new IT program too? Is that what you just said?
no, they're not. It'll
I
just
would
be
suggest
an internet
Not.
connection. Right.
I mean,
It'll
I
just-
think we should not tie everything into a bucket that we can't control.
Oh, no, it won't be. It won't be. But
Okay. Yeah, I mean, just for me, it's what additional workload impacts on what the town's already doing would, 1-for-1, 5,600 passes sold here due to our folks up front. It would disrupt other, business that needs to be done. So I have a motion to make for consistency. I motion that we make the price for Freeman Park passes the same at all points of sale and as already voted, charge the consumer for the transaction and processing fees. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, we'll go around with the non-agenda.
I have a few things. With new council coming on, a few recommendations I think we should do for the workshop in December. The first one is I think we should have all chairmen or a liaison from each committee here for an update, telling us what the committee's been doing for the past 2 years and what their plan is for this next year. I also think that we should have an update from the acting town manager, where we've been for the past 2 years, what we're looking for in the next 2 years. Same thing with the lake. Everything in regards to Freeman Park that we can talk about in public, the rest would be behind closed doors, obviously. All parking lots that we currently have now, the ones that we are looking into possibly losing, shared payment parking lots, our budget for the past 2 years, where we've met on the mark, where we haven't, and where we're projecting for this next year. Same thing with projects. I know some of the phases were slowing down, stopping, what we have been, where we are moving forward, as well as the 5 key spots for stormwater. And then the master plan. I know we have a master plan for Parks and Rec, and we've been tasking Mark with the ones for operations. So I think I know it might be a long workshop, but that wasn't given to me 2 years ago.
We
until
don't normally have a workshop in December, because that falls on Christmas Eve.
January, moved to
Okay, you mean the retreat?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, sorry. You're stressing me out, because I'm going to be
I
out of town
forgot
again.
the Christmas cancels it out.
So is there a date set for the retreat? That's a good point, Joe Dan.
It's usually the second week in January.
We were looking at a little bit later. We can try to find an earlier date. I think some of you are going to be out early January, and then some of our new council are out later January. We're looking at February 5th. If that's too late, we can try an earlier date.
Probably thinking maybe along the lines of a new town manager at that point as well,
Yeah.
right? At least to go from flash to bang on.
So I know when I'm out of town, I don't know,
Think
what are
Jay-
those dates? Can
Jay
we
had
find,
a
I think
few-
we need to do January probably.
Yeah.
Okay, we can make something work. I know I got your dates. We'll figure it.
And you got my dates.
I got your dates.
I mean, the sooner the better. I mean, and maybe we'll find somebody in December when we do those interviews.
Right. Okay. I'll,
Sorry, Joe Dan, I didn't mean to
It's
interrupt
okay,
you,
just
but
made
you
this
know
my
how I am
tra- I
about my
lost my train
schedule.
of
I'm
thought.
weird about my schedule. I like it all,
I'm pretty open almost whenever. I can almost make anything work.
All right, I'll finalize that date and get it out to you. And maybe I can get, I got most of what you said down. Maybe I can get, if you got a list there, I could get
got
the
it.
rest of it from you.
And then 2 other things. One is, I know the employee holiday party's coming up soon. Last year, I was a bit disappointed with what we did for the staff. We gave them blankets, and then we gave them a $10 turkey gift certificate. And I know I said something about that. I also said, before we decide what we're going to move forward with, to bring that to council so that we can oversee that. I had a handful of employees during the season off tell me that a $10 rebate for a turkey was kind of a POS kind of gift for them. The blankets everybody loved, but that $10 rebate for a turkey was kind of like, we could have done something better. I would have liked the idea of even bringing a food truck in and not have to rent out a spot. The money we would have saved, we probably could have had the town employees' loved ones here as well, and made it a little bit more engaging.
So, good
I
point,
would
Joe Dan.
imagine
When
they
is
got
that
those
Christmas
on
party?
free from Food
The
Line.
Christmas party is going to be Friday, December 13th. We do have it scheduled for Fort Fisher, so we do already have the facility lined up. And we are looking at doing a morale event that morning. I think it starts at 11:15 at Parks and Rec Department. And any council or future or they will be.
What
on
is that?
It
council.
will be council then.
It will be
Like a
we'll
pep
meet-
rally?
Meet at Parks and Rec, and you bike to Fort Fisher. So
Swim.
if you
That had
want,
to be your idea.
if you want to come and participate, then then you're what, we actually had a couple of employees that ran it last year. So
Ooh,
that was where
man,
we got the
everyone's
idea.
gonna be sweating
Sounds
at that lunch,
cold.
huh?
Yeah.
So that's what we have
I
on
wanna
plate,
change
on,
that.
on the schedule now, so.
So I guess the reason I asked that, Joe Dan, is to your point, I don't know how much time they would have to change anything. You're talking
Yeah, I know.
about 2 weeks.
That's why I brought that up earlier in the year.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Because that cost points, whatever we're paying the rent out down in Fort Fisher, we probably could have saved, had a food truck at the rec center, did a huge blowout, and had family members here as well. And going forward next year for the summer, I'd like to present that as well as next Christmas.
We could look at something, I know we talked about the $10 rebate tickets. We'll look at another option for that for this year. The 12th.
The 12th.
12th.
The 12th and the 13th was our
Contingency for,
contingency dates. Fortunately, that everybody could do the 12th. So,
That's unfortunate.
you have no excuse not to ride your bike.
Sounds like a
show up sweaty to lunch. I believe at the moment, that's all I have.
Tom, do you have anything?
No.
Steve?
No, sir.
Leanne?
Yeah, just to Joe Dan's point, if you guys have ideas for the council retreat about things, what we typically do, Ed will send out an email and ask what are there topics of concern you'd like addressed at the council retreat. So start thinking about, am I saying it right, Ed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. How anything you think that needs to be discussed or addressed at the council retreat. So I'm sure you'll be sending that out soon enough to get ideas and so you can do your research.
I will, and I've sent or given direction to town staff is to put, all the department heads will be putting a presentation of what did they accomplish this year and what do they plan to accomplish next year. So you can see what we're prioritizing and what are the big M&O projects, what are the capital projects. So that's what you'll hear from the department heads right now. And of course, if you have other ideas, I'll send an email out and ask.
And for our new council members, that would be something we do every year to kind of gauge where we're at and what we accomplished last year and where we want to go for the next year. And it gives staff a set of goals to dial in on for the year. But the other thing I already talked to you about, Ed, and I see Eric in here, and I had a conversation with him yesterday before I had all the details, but I understood that we had capped the Christmas parade, but if we have a waiting list that includes local business owners, you said yesterday there was a waiting list, and now I'm finding out it was capped, and that's why you have a waiting list. I would suggest that local business owners be allowed to be in the parade and not tell them no.
We
Or
absolutely-
business, anybody locally.
I think our initial, and there might be some confusion at staff, but we were trying to limit the large car clubs.
Right.
In the past, if you were having like 20 cars in a row or multiple cars, but, and Eric and I will get together. We definitely don't want to eliminate the chance for folks to have a float, especially a local
Yeah,
business
especially
owner.
local business.
And whatever Eric thinks, if he needs to cut it off 5 days before, 3 days before, or whatever, I mean, I don't know, but I don't like to turn people away, and when I called you, I got that, they said, what do you mean it's full? I said, I don't do the parade, but let me find out.
Right.
But so, my thing is, let's get our locals in there if they want to be in it. I can see cutting off Wilmington if you're full, but not Carolina Beach.
Will
Or
do.
Curry Beach. That's it.
Okay.
Two other little things.
Go, shoot.
Recommendations, possibly get 2 Robert's Rules books. That drastically helped out a lot in this past 2 years for me. It's for that way for these 2 guys. I also like to see possibly some more town council or town of Carolina Beach shirts and apparel, because there are events and things that we go to I kind of show up in my own gear because I don't have anything. I know we get the name badge, but it would be nice to have something for the new guys as well as who's currently on council then.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Something good for our budget.
Well, and I'll tell you what I did. I know what you're saying. I called the lady and just bought what I wanted from her directly because I, just wanted to pick out what I wanted. But I know Kim has some things, and she'll probably order pins for everybody, for the new people. And name tags is actually probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Good
that's it.
comment. Thank you.
Just a couple, Ed. As you know, Kim, thanks. We've got the letters ready to go out for next Tuesday's Canal Drive Flood Committee open house. door hangers have been put on most of the residences on Canal, about halfway up, and that'll finish this week, I guess. Looking over for a head nod. And
Sir.
I'll send out the personal invitations to our county commissioners and our legislators and a coastal federation and the district coastal management. Tara is the new director up there. So
Who's
that'll be
also
good
a resident.
I'm sorry?
Who's also a resident.
Oh, right on. Okay. On the 10th, without objection from council, I've got a final key to the city to give to Ocean Cure. I've talked to Kevin Murphy. He'd take it if that's fine. Something to think about. And I got the letter from the LGC, one pager. I gave it back. I think it's on your desk, Kim. It stated that the fund balance was 32.5%, which does not include the 2 FEMA reimbursements that came in, one in, I guess the other one coming after the 1st of July.
Oh, correct.
So it acknowledged that as a positive trend. And I think I have a response, or the new mayor, a response within the next 45 days, something.
We sent that in on Friday, and
Okay.
they have already accepted. I emailed it as well as sent the hard copy, and they've already accepted the response. And we're happy with the plan that we had set forth.
Okay, that's all I have. I've got a couple RFIs. I'll get offline with you on that, Ed. Anything else, council? And I'm just going to make not a motion, but we'll just adjourn.
All right.
Thanks.